Hi, it's me, Brett again. I'm going to skip part 3 and part 4 and basically go straight to part 5, which I'm going to call The Light at the End of the Tunnel. For two reasons. Reason one, which I forgot to mention in the first one, on my way to the hospital after the accident, I did see a light at the end of the tunnel. I was in severe pain, even though I was out cold, and the closer I got to the light, the pain seemed to go away. I got really, really, really close, and the pain was almost gone. And I remember suddenly thinking, hold on a second, that's not what I want. And in my head, running backwards away from the light. I did later find out that I was actually, I stopped breathing and my heart stopped for about 2.5 minutes and was resuscitated in the ambulance. Believe what you want. I'm not really religious, but it certainly stuck with me. The other reason for calling this The Light at the End of the Tunnel is I'm going to base it around when I thought I was going home. So I've been in hospital for several months. Have moved back from Plymouth, which is about 60 or 70 miles away from home, to Truro, which is only about 7 or 8 miles. So family and friends could visit me. I was a lot nearer to home, and it was a lot easier mentally, seeing a lot of friendly faces on a regular basis. I'd been told that I would probably be home for my 20th birthday. So I had put all my hopes into getting there. The week before my birthday, I was suddenly told that actually I wasn't ready to go home. They weren't happy for me to leave the hospital yet, and that I'd have to wait a little bit longer. This was devastating, to be honest, because all I wanted to do was get home. I was sick of the hospital, the food, the people, the monotonousness, the other patients screaming. You know, it was really starting to get me down. Yeah, so that was a bit of a hard time for me. I did get a little bit drunk on my 20th birthday. I had some friends sneak me in some beer and some Jack Daniels as well, which mixed with the pain relief I was on meant I slept really well that night. Anyway, let's get on. So I'll skip a big part of the recovery, but they were now starting to move my legs with my knees with an electronic machine to assist it. It got to a point where they were moving a few degrees and just stopping. They thought the knees were seized, but they'd take it out of the machine, the knee would move a little bit further. It turned out that both my ankles had actually frozen solid due to lack of movement. No broken bones, I just hadn't moved them because moving really, really hurt. So I didn't move any more than I had to. So in the following weeks, they were getting me up into a wheelchair so I could move myself around. I was starting to whiz around the hospital. Even tried to escape from the hospital, actually. I managed to get into the elevator, down the stairs, but when trying to actually leave the hospital grounds, security brought me back to the ward, seeing as I was only in a gown. I obviously didn't look like I was supposed to be going home quite yet. When they got me back, they put me back in my bed and they kept a much closer eye on me. The next step was getting me to stand up with over what basically looked like a vicar's pulpit, like a frame around me. They stood me up. I slumped over it and held my body weight up, and all the blood rushed to parts of my body that hadn't felt any blood for a very long time. And this was possibly one of the most excruciating moments of the entire incident. Second probably only to when I'd been about 3 weeks in the hospital, and the epidural came out of my back. So I went from having absolutely no feeling in my legs to all of the pain from the operations, the skin grafts, the bone damage and everything in an absolute split second, which ended up with me basically being a crying, screaming mess, begging for someone to help me. Fortunately, the nurses were quite quick to come in and got me on the morphine before they could reinstate the epidural. Yeah, even thinking about it, actually, it was just so painful. So yeah, stood up on the pulpit, held myself up, blood rushed from the legs. I basically blacked out due to the pain over the thing. Nurse had to put me back into bed. I woke up a few minutes later feeling very uncomfortable. Yeah, so I was almost home at this point. Almost home. And I'll carry that on in the next video and may even go back to Sector 3. Thank you.